podcast in the world that combines our two loves exclusively, because that's all we love in life. It's Formula One in football. It's the only podcast that has all the grid of Formula One and all the iron of American football. I am Sean Barry. If you didn't pick up on what I'm putting down here, we talk about Formula One and football on this podcast if you're new here. Joining me as always, the bald behemoth, holding down the fort in the land. It's our resident NFL.com talent writer, Nick Shook. And he sands the sleeve tonight.
I haven't flexed in a while. That's my bad. For those of you who come to the podcast just for my flexing, so you stay here for approximately 30 seconds and leave, I'll deliver for you.
Thank you so much for delivering, for flexing on the viewers and the haters, Nick.
I do my best. I do my best.
And then, of course, joining us as always, back from her 2-week hiatus. Oh, nope, she's gone.
Katie is working. She's working abroad and dealing with some technical difficulties, but that was actually perfect timing. If you're watching this
absolutely
on YouTube or watching the live stream on Twitch and YouTube,
while we wait to get Katie back in here, Nick, where can they find us on YouTube?
YouTube.com//@gridironpod and Twitch. You can find the show live streamed on my Twitch page at the Nick Shook.
And you can also find us on TikTok at the.gridiron.podcast and on Instagram at gridironpod. That's just at gridironpod. You can also email us. Where, Nick?
The Gridiron Podcast 3. That's the Gridiron Podcast 3.
Damn those other two.
at gmail.com.
Yes, we're old school. We like the Gmail. Still waiting on Katie. It's a running joke here on the Gridiron Podcast because Katie's in Vancouver, right? She's house sitting in Vancouver. Anytime she does this and does the podcast from that location, she always tells us that she's working with a potato for internet. I don't know what it is about internet in, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, but I guess it's run by potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Idaho, but...
no. Closer than us.
Look, the science experiment itself has worked at the science fair. It does not necessarily work with the podcast, but I'm sure she'll either return at some point or not at all. And we will proceed either way, either in her memory or with her here.
Hold on. She just texted the group chat. I can't say the first word because this is a family show, but it rhymes with yuck. Sorry, I have no idea why it cut out. Restarting now. So Katie will be joining us momentarily, our Canadian queen. We've got a lot to get to in this week of the Gridiron Podcast because, Nick, we're coming off Divisional Round in the NFL, and we're starting to get livery reveals in the world of F1. Cars will be on track for testing very, very soon. We'll break it all down. Let's start in the NFL. Let's go through Saturday to Sunday because we're working our way up to Championship Sunday, the AFC Championship, which will feature the Denver Broncos hosting the New England Patriots, and the NFC Championship, which will feature the Seattle Seahawks hosting none other than the Los Angeles Rams. Take 3 for that one. Nick, start us off here on Saturday.
Well, it's Saturday being the day in which we got a thrilling game and a not so thrilling game. Look, this is kind of what we anticipated, right? We got Bills at Broncos. This was the year that the Bills were supposed to not have anybody standing in their way. No Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. No Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. No Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And yet the Bills find a way to stub their toe again, lose in overtime. They turn the ball over 5 times. Josh Allen accounts for 4 of those. And an otherwise pretty strong game for him.
Color me shocked.
For not. Yes, that the Bills fell short again. What did we say, Sean, on this podcast weeks, if not months ago? What alert did we place the Bills under at that time?
I believe you placed them under fraudulent alert. They were in the Bank of America fraud department because they appeared to be fraudulent.
And ultimately, they proved to be fraudulent. So much so that after losing to the Broncos and watching yet another season with Super Bowl ambitions go up in smoke, the Bills fired their coach, Sean McDermott, on Monday because somebody had to pay for the latest disappointment, apparently. And that ended a 9-year tenure of McDermott running the Bills, turning them around from lovable losers who had the longest playoff drought in the NFL at the time at 17 years. And into a perennial contender, which is now a perennial bridesmaid, because they still haven't made the Super Bowl despite owning the most victories, him and Josh Allen, without reaching a Super Bowl in NFL history. I guess, Sean, at some point you just have to look at what's going on and say, we have to make a change somewhere. We're going to overlook the fact that the roster was probably the worst of the last 5 years.
Right.
We're going to
Yes.
overlook the fact that, that we had a number of deficiencies on the side of the ball that was the coach's strength. We're going to overlook the fact that our receiving core was incredibly thin and was the thinnest as it could possibly be going into the divisional round. And we're just going to fire the coach and just say, all right, that enough, we'll solve it. It's not to say that he didn't deserve to be fired, but didn't necessarily make entire 100% sense. And we welcome Katie Caldwell back to the show. Katie, hi.
Hello. Well, I've been broadcasting from Vancouver for 3 weeks and it's been fine until this exact moment. So you might have me for a while and then you might not. So when I'm here, I'm here.
we were telling the viewers and the listeners, you have a potato for an internet, apparently.
No, it's the camera, but I just I took away the 4K camera. So now I'm filming from a potato, but hopefully it doesn't slow down the laptop. Technology is so fun on the road, you guys.
It
I'm having a
is.
great
Well,
time.
we welcome in our Canadian queen. Katie, we're talking about the Bills and Broncos, how the Bills just once again, asked too much of Superman, and this time Superman met his kryptonite, and that was apparently just holding on to the football.
And can we talk about how everyone in the media is coddling him anyways, even though he was a liability?
Nick was
in that
coddling
game?
him. Nick was like, he actually had a really good game aside from,
I
the
didn't
four
say a
turnovers.
really good game. I said a pretty good game. other
I'm
than
so
turnovers.
sorry. One word difference.
I think this is a both things can be true thing, and not to cut anybody off here, but the Bills don't get there without him. But he also shares a lot of responsibility for them losing to the Broncos, and I think
I
that we
agree.
can say both of those things there. But we should not paint him like some victim just because he cried after the game. He was responsible for it. He turned the ball over 4 times. My God.
Yeah.
I just look at the discourse between how people speak about him and then how people speak about someone like Lamar Jackson, and the narratives just could not be more different. And I get so frustrated every single day with it. So yeah, that's my big piece of input with that.
You could say
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's really, athletic, right? He's electric. But Josh Allen, he's smart, he's focused, field general, right?
He's just a good guy,
Right.
He's
Tries
just,
hard.
He's a real role model. Katie disappears again.
Katie was so sick of
I
that
think
conversation.
I think that was by choice. Of course.
Katie was
of
like,
course,
I'm done listening to these two.
We're saying all of this in jest, but of course, Katie. I really hope that was intentional. Actually, it'd be even funnier if it was accidental.
This is great. This is phenomenal. We are off the
she's
rails
absolutely
already.
right. She's absolutely right, though. And I think that the fashion in which the Bills lost, which was Allen throwing an interception in overtime that some thought wasn't an interception, but I have a very good reason as to why they got the call right. And then
I
the
think it was right.
Broncos getting into field goal range off of a couple of defensive pass interference calls against the Bills. It made Bills fans feel like they were robbed. But the only thing that really robbed you in this game was the fact that your quarterback couldn't hang on to the football. And also James Cook had a very untimely fumble. Oh, by the way, one of those fumbles that led to 3 points just before halftime, which then you end up losing by 3 points in overtime. Like, there are so many reasons so many things that you can point to and be like, this is why you lost. This is why you lost. This is why you lost. Even maybe your coach is why you lost. It's not the refs, okay?
The biggest gut punch, though, came shortly after that game. Not only were you eliminated again when this was supposed to be your year, no Patrick Mahomes, this has to be your year. The biggest gut punch, though, came when Sean Payton said, yes, in fact, Bo Nix broke a bone in his ankle and is now out for the rest of the season. The team that just eliminated you now will almost certainly lose in the AFC title game to New England. It's not impossible, right? We've seen backup quarterbacks lead teams to Super Bowls before, but there's a reason that Nick Foles is such a legendary guy in Philadelphia, because it doesn't happen ever except for like 1 or 2 times. It's it is a gut punch, because you're thinking here sitting, if we'd won that game, we could go on to win the Super Bowl. They're not going to, so they move on, eliminated us, even though they are not going to probably go any further.
I caution against that. Let's
You
put a little
never
markdown on the
know.
show right here, because
never know.
I have a feeling that the Broncos may still win this game. I think I already sent my picks in and I picked the Patriots, but I have a slight suspicion that Jarrett Stidham is going to play just fine, and that at minimum he's going to keep them in a game that maybe ends up in a close defeat, but he's not going to be such a deficiency in the offense that it's going to, torpedo their entire Super Bowl ambition. But you're right. Because when you look at it from the outsider's perspective, you think, oh, well, the team that won lost their quarterback, and so it's not even going to be fun to watch. You might as well just hand it to the other team. But this is not the college football playoff. We are not picking teams based on the fact that a team has a quarterback or not. What we have is an elimination tournament in which the Broncos earned the right to advance, which they did, regardless of who is going to play quarterback. We can criticize how Bo Nix, injured his ankle. I think it was on that quarterback sweep like 3 plays before they kicked the field goal.
That's what the video looked like because they shot right to him on the sideline and he was kind of testing it out and he clearly was in pain after he put some weight on it.
Yeah, it was not good at all.
All right.
By the way, Katie's exit was not intentional. She said it just froze immediately. That would have been funny if it was intentional.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I have confidence. I think Jarrett Stidham's going to play better than He was the best player in the NFL in the preseason. And for sickos like me who watched preseason football, I can say that confidently. So don't be surprised if he goes out there and slings it.
I was so kind of going down that rabbit hole where they're like, who else could they bring in? And according to NFL rules, if a quarterback ended the season already on a roster, you cannot go out and either sign them as a free agent or trade for them or bring them in. So no Phillip Rivers was coming in. No Aaron Rodgers was coming in. No one was coming in to save the Broncos. But you know who could, if he really wanted to, was Drew Brees.
Oh, God.
He is eligible to sign as a free agent. If Sean Payton really wanted to, he could go out and be like, Drew Brees, save us. You're our only hope. I thought that would be so funny, even if they did it just as like a joke or just as a precaution. But no, alas, they're not doing that. Jarrett Stidham going to start for the Broncos in the AFC title game on Sunday. Moving on to the other Saturday game, like you said, a little bit of a stinker. I happened to be at a Seattle Seahawks bar here in Tampa, Florida, when that happened, and I hope Katie comes back soon because I would love to get her take because she is a Seahawks fan. The Seahawks, from the word go, ran away with this game against the San Francisco 49ers. Rashid Shaheed just returning the opening kickoff, 95 yards, and from there on out, honestly, that was enough. That was the game. Niners only scored 6 points.
Yeah, considering the Niners only scored 6 points.
The Seahawks won the game on the opening kick. And you have to say, a lot can change in the next few days or the next few weeks. But man, Seattle looks good right now, Nick.
Yeah, they do. They do. Actually, before I dive into this, we're going to get an update on Katie real quick. First off, she said, well, friends, looks like you're just stuck with me in the chat. LMAO, #potato.
So Katie is going to, I like this idea. Katie's just going to chime along in the chat. And
so then she reacted to your Drew Brees suggestion with, Drew Brees, come on, bro.
All right, I'm going to need you to like pay attention to the chat quicker. Just keep popping these messages up. This is hilarious, actually.
We got Chris in here as well. He said, what's up, guys? Thanks for hopping in here, Chris. Hope Alaska's treating you well. And he said, did Katie have a tire fall off of her car and get stranded in a random Canadian town again? Frozen into a cube like a caveman in Scooby-Doo? Called in by Sean Payton to play backup quarterback? Keep the hypothetical scenarios going.
I love this. I love this, actually. This is phenomenal. I forgot that she got stuck in the snow in a random Canadian town that one time.
Yeah, her tire flew off of her car. That was a harrowing experience that she relayed to us.
That is, I think, my favorite Katie Caldwell lore story.
It's not the Olympic ring story.
That'd
be my favorite.
That might be a close second.
I used to date them.
I know the rings. How do you know the rings, Katie? Used to date a guy with a tattoo. Oh yeah. All right.
So what are the colors of the rings in what order?
She named them in order.
To Katie's Seahawks, congratulations. You dominated a Niners team that was... Look, I don't mean to diminish any playoff victory because it's hard to win in the playoffs, but there have been tougher matchups than this one. The Niners succumbed to their many injuries offensively and defensively. They never were able to hold a candle to the Seahawks, who have been on a heater for a while. And as I've said here and on NFL Daily for weeks, they are one of the two best teams in the NFL, the other one being the Los Angeles Rams, who they will meet in the NFC Championship game. But when it comes to this game, it was a consummate performance by that just kind of displayed all the Seahawks' strengths. So running game goes off, defense stifling, special teams contributes. Sam Darnold was on the field. That's all you needed in order to dominate the Niners and advance to the NFC Championship game. We're not going to see many lopsided games like this in the divisional round, but we did see one over the weekend. I caution against using it as your basis of judgment of the Seahawks. They are a very good football team. However, do not expect them to deliver such a performance against the Rams. It will be more challenging for them.
I want to add, like I said, I was at a Seahawks bar in Tampa. I film a segment on all of these fan clubs that have a football here in Tampa because it's a transplant city. And that's kind of a beautiful thing as well because people find, community in watching football with people from their hometown or people that just like that team. So it was kind of cool to see so many Seahawks fans, which, no offense to Seattle fans, they're not really, it's not like they're the Cowboys or the Steelers or the Packers that have like an international following. If you're a Seahawks fan, you grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and to see so many here in Tampa just kind of enjoying that was fun. I interviewed one fan, though, who tried to start a letter writing campaign in Minneapolis, in the Minnesota area, to thank Vikings fans and the front office for allowing Sam Darnold to leave and come to Seattle. That's how much they love Sam Darnold in Seattle right now.
Well,
They're all
I
Darnold
mean,
heads.
Look, they took a risk. They took a calculated risk. They said, look, we believe that Sam Darnold is going to fit our new offense under Clint Kubiak. Geno Smith is no longer a fit. We're going to sign him to a contract that would actually allow us to get out after 1 year if it's a disaster, and we're going to hope for the best. And it paid off better than anything short of investing in NVIDIA 5 years ago or investing in Apple in the 80s. I mean, you are a rich person if you put your money in those stocks ahead of their boom, and the Seahawks fans are enjoying the spoils of their front office's decisions. Now, I caution against thinking that's rock solid, though, because while having Apple stock is very reliable and has made many people rich, Disney stock as well, right? Sam Darnold is not as guaranteed to deliver. Over this run down the backstretch of the season,
What you're saying is he's AMC, he's Dogecoin?
Yeah, kind of, maybe, kind of. Dogecoin's a good comparison, although I think that's a little disrespectful. GameStop, No, I'm just kidding. He's not GameStop. You could have seen him as GameStop after last season. He is a quarterback who has not had to play a big part in a lot of their wins. He did play a big part in them coming back to beat the Rams in Week 16, that thrilling game that ended in overtime, Seahawks 1-point victory at home. But I worry, and I think a lot of fans also understandably worry about whether he'll wilt under pressure in the playoffs, a place that he has struggled in the past. He did last year with the Vikings. He was okay over the weekend. He didn't really have to do much in the divisional round. Did get his first playoff win. But if it comes down to, because here's the thing with the Seahawks. They lost Zach Charbonnet in this blowout win over the Niners. They are going to be riding Kenneth Walker on the ground, which has produced, good numbers for them over the last couple of months. But one guy instead of two just increases the level of difficulty. Luckily, they have a defense that's going to limit the opposing offense. Typically it does. It didn't in the second matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks, but I think that it will. But I am just cautioning against relying and leaning on Sam Darnold to deliver you a victory and a trip to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he's necessarily capable of that. He could do it, but it's not rock solid. It's not like the other quarterback on that other sideline in this NFC Championship game, Matthew Stafford, who has not had very much fun in the playoffs, but is still eligible in the playoffs, and he's still the quarterback of the Rams.
Let's actually get into that Rams-Bears game. Patriots-Texans, by the way, real quick. Patriots beat the Texans 28-16. C.J. Stroud, first quarterback to have 5 fumbles and 5 interceptions in 2 games in the playoffs. I think he's the first quarterback to ever do that in playoff history.
Yeah, he was bad.
Yeah,
really bad.
He was bad. We don't really even need to talk about that game that much. The Patriots did enough to beat a bad Texans offense and a good Texans defense. 7 of those points coming off a pick 6 from C.J. Stroud. So Patriots move on. The only thing I have to say about the New England Patriots is how? Just how? 5 years. 5 freaking years they're gone, and they're back.
It's the same question that Katie asked when she had a tire fall off of her car, which looked like this.
Yes.
If you're watching,
look at this photograph.
That is a photo from Katie sent to the group. That's what happened to her.
I mean, it didn't fly off. I mean, it's still right
It was
there.
still attached, but it looks a lot like when you break an axle in F1. The tire's just there by some cords.
I think she just tore her Achilles on that car.
Perhaps. But yes, how? How did they get here so quickly? Because they drafted a quarterback who was capable of leading them. They made a smart hire at coach with Mike Vrabel, and they are getting the most out of a team that has been, reinforced with some young talent and some wise additions of veterans in the offseason. Sean's a big Robert Spillane guy. He's part of that defense.
Spillane train.
But you also go spend a bunch of money on Milton Williams, the defensive tackle he produces, alongside Christian Barmore, a guy that you drafted. Caleb Chason, Smart free agent signing who never did that much in Jacksonville, having a career year with the Patriots, drafted Christian Gonzalez, playing well, signed Carlton Davis. You can continue to go down the list. This is the story of them. Their defense is playing better than it has all season. Drake May is doing enough. He's making the big plays in key spots without being good from, through all 4 quarters. And they have also, I think, operated with the benefit of a home field advantage. That place Gillette Stadium has been nuts over the last 2 games that they've played there. They're so happy to be back in the playoffs. They're so happy to shove it in your face, Sean, when you say, how did you return to this stage within 5 years? And guess what? They don't have to explain themselves. They're just going to enjoy it the whole time. So how? That's how. And it feels weird because, I remember when I lived in LA when I was in my early 20s and I was flying back to LA and I'm watching Patriots Broncos in the AFC Championship game. And it's Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. And now we got Patriots Broncos in the AFC Championship game. And I'm like, I was already bald then. Nothing has really changed. Maybe
Time
some wrinkles.
is a flat circle.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
It really is.
Also,
All right,
we have
so
another
Patriots
comment in
move
the
on.
chat here. Sorry, not to cut you off, but
No, you're
Chris
good.
says, is Sean calling in from a supply closet with a single hanging light bulb? Interrogation room, Sean.
All right, here's the thing. All right, my roommate is a morning photog here at our station, so he goes to bed at 5, 6 o'clock. So imagine this booming voice reverberating through our house. Okay, he can't have that. I would keep him up all night. So I am in an edit bay in our sports office. I mean, look, there's people out there. There's Mark Skoll Jr.
What's up?
Everyone say hi to Mark Skoll Jr.
Hi, Mark.
And BK's back there.
The classic, what's up?
What's up? So yes, I'm in an edit bay with padded walls, so I'm not intruding on anybody's sleepy time or anybody's work. And as for the one light bulb, it's my camera light.
Oh, nice. Well, at least you have that.
Probably turn that down actually a little bit.
Good. That's a good choice of lighting, considering you didn't have your ring light on you. If anybody is familiar, Sean, with paper-thin walls and the effects of it, I think it's you and I. Which points me to my next. Yes, you're right. We're gonna move right past that to Big B jumping in the chat and saying the Sean and Shook Pod. Yeah, sure. We can say it's a Sean and Shook Pod.
Yeah.
Katie's in the chat though, so not entirely. Katie's here. Which, by the way, Katie said Seahawks will win the Super Bowl, but the Rams are a tougher test than either team in the AFC. Fair. Which sets us up, Sean, for what you've been trying to transition to for the last 5 minutes.
Bears, Rams.
Yes, I almost said Packers because I'm an
You
idiot.
almost did. I was like, no,
that was the week
they're out.
prior. My brain's melted at this point.
What a fourth quarter again. I was going to say what a game, but it really wasn't. What a fourth quarter again. Right? Rams break a 10-10 tie there with under 9 minutes to go. Back and forth they go. And then Caleb Williams. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Mark Skoll Jr. is a Bears fan. I'm going to get him in here.
Oh, perfect. We're going to get some contributions.
Mark Skoll Jr., I need you real quick because we're talking about your Bears. I would like to know.
Oh, he's sauntering over.
I know. Feel happy though, right? What was going through your mind that Caleb Williams touchdown to Cole Kmet? Go ahead, come here.
I just yelled, "Oh my gosh!" I yelled, "Oh my gosh!" I couldn't believe that it happened. It happened again. I mean, he's the comeback kid. He does it all the time. He's the Iceman. That's what they call him. He's awesome.
The Iceman cometh, but unfortunately he does not goeth to the NFC title game.
Aw.
Thanks for having me in there to say this, Sean. I really appreciate it. It
Thank
makes
you.
me feel really good.
Find him on what's your Twitter handle?
Mark Skoll Jr. TV.
Mark Skoll Jr. TV. Thank you, Mark Skoll Jr. TV.
Thank you, Mark Skoll Jr. TV. Lanyard and all.
This is, yeah. Find him on fox13.com as well. He's a great reporter. It was just, I didn't know what I was watching, and I honestly didn't see that touchdown because every time I go into our studio to do any kind of sports hit, weird stuff happens. Like we were talking about the the Week 18 Steelers-Ravens games. The Zay Flowers touchdown and the Calvin Austin touchdown I missed while I was recording my 11 o'clock sports hit. This one, I think it was like the 10 o'clock sports hit. It was insane. It was insanity. So, yeah, didn't see it, but I have seen it since. And I don't know how Chicago kept getting away with that.
Because they have a quarterback who is living up to the expectations that followed him at USC, which is that he is an incredible athlete with very rare arm strength and improvisational ability that if you can just rein him in the basics, that he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And he took big steps this year. But then,
in overtime,
Harrison Mevis.
Mevis.
Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, cometh.
I don't like it when you say it like that. No, I was talking about the interception in overtime, Nick.
All right, so the Rams go 3 and out. Pretty just atrocious starting drive in overtime. The Bears are on the move. They're near midfield. They got all the momentum in the world. All they got to do is go down and kick a field goal, and they're going to the NFC Championship game. And Caleb Williams takes an aggressive shot that he shouldn't have taken on a deep ball on a crossing route to DJ Moore, who appeared to either quit on the route or accept that he was covered and wasn't going to finish the route. Williams thought he was going to flatten out the route beneath the defender. Instead, he goes behind him. Defender outstretches, full extension, picks off Caleb Williams. That sparks another drive by the Rams, which includes a couple of third down conversions, a short pass to Puka Nacua, and they move into field goal range. And ultimately, the thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis, Mr. Mevis, nails the game-winning kick to send the Rams to the NFC Championship game. A heartbreaking finish for a Bears fan base that was living and dying by the thrilling finish all season, and unfortunately learned how it felt to be on the losing end in the worst possible moment.
Again, we talked about it last week after Wild Card Weekend. There are teams that still lose, and then you feel good about it. I'm not so sure the Bears feel good about losing this game because they were so close and probably should have won. But you go into next season, you know the head coaching problem is solved. You know the quarterback problem is solved. Chicago will be right back, at least on paper. So the Rams, could they continue their long march? Is this the Matthew Stafford swan song? We don't know. It could be. He could pull a Peyton Manning, win the Super Bowl, and say, peace out. I'm good.
I have a hard time thinking that it is. He just seems like he's still too passionate about the game. But maybe if you want to go out on top.
If you win the Super Bowl, if you win the Super Bowl, I can't think of a better way to go out. Yep, I'm good.
How have I heard it described? The sport is great at a lot of things, but it's really hard to stick the dismount, when you leave. Peyton Manning did it. There's only a select few that have really done it. I do think that if they are able to beat the Seahawks and win the Super Bowl, which is not a guarantee, of course, that it would represent the greatest accomplishment of his career, greater than the Super Bowl they won in the 2021 season in LA at home against the Bengals, and would be a proper conclusion to a career that deserves more praise than he's really ever gotten, especially when he was with the Lions before he was traded to the Rams. So it's an interesting note to watch, but honestly, I just ran through this entire research packet provided by the fine folks at the NFL Research Department, and it's sideways because I'm still in the middle of it. Got some notes, some annotations. This is upside down, but you get what I'm talking about. And the numbers kind of suggest that I think the Rams are in for a tough one. Yeah. Seattle's defense is just really good. They generate pressure organically better than any team in the NFL. Stafford's been very bad under pressure in these playoffs. He's been pretty rough overall. I think he's still dealing with that finger injury. But he does have Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and all those tight ends. So we'll see. It's a meeting of divisional rivals that split the season series and are meeting with a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the line. And that alone is captivating and fascinating enough for all of us to tune in, which we will. But
this is why we have Nick Shook on the podcast, because he brings in the giant packets the NFL give him.
I never print them out except for today, and luckily it was there as a prop, as I already read through it and red penned a lot of stuff in there. Red pens and highlighters, please. Katie has a comment in the chat. She said, long-time listener, first-time caller, can I ask for more context about the thin walls? No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You can deduce what we're referencing.
Honestly, honestly, it's pretty innocent. Like I can hear when he turns his bathroom fan on and vice versa. I can hear when my neighbor turns his bathroom fan on. So that's honestly how I know the walls are super thin. It's super G-rated.
And that is not the thin walls that we were referencing, but it's good job tap dancing around that one, sir.
No, I swear. The whole reason why I know the walls are thin is super G-rated. I promise.
I have but one thing to say to you, Sean. Morning, Sean.
Morning, Shook. I like how that's what I said when my boss was like, you want to say hi to your buddy? I'm like, yeah, morning, Shook.
Yeah, I jumped on Sean's boss's podcast earlier today, and then we're wrapping up, and he's like, hey, you want to talk to your buddy? He just walked in. And Sean's like way in the back, and he's just like, morning, Shook. Inside jokes that nobody gets.
Oh, those were the thin walls you were referencing. I get it.
Now he gets it.
I see what you're putting down. I see what you're putting down.
Picking up what I'm putting down.
All right, chat and Katie.
Said I thought I was the only tap dancer of the group.
That was
And
perfect timing.
You don't want to see Sean tap dance, but he did there.
No, you don't want to see me dance. I have no rhythm. I have absolutely no rhythm. God forbid a white boy get a little motion. Chat and Katie, let's predict the AFC and NFC championship games. Starting with the AFC championship games. Patriots on the road going against a Bo Nixless Denver Broncos. Nick?
Okay, so
Come
I
on.
submitted my picks yesterday. I have since decided against my pick for the AFC championship game. I had Patriots 25, Broncos 17. I'm going to go Broncos 24, Patriots 23. Jarrett Stidham, baby. Let's go. Stiddy. Shout out to Stiddy.
All right. So Broncos over the Patriots. Broncos going to the Super Bowl. The Patriots right now are, Nick, cover your ears, a 5.5-point favorite on the road against the Denver Broncos. Almost a touchdown favorite over the Denver Broncos. I find it hard to believe that Jared Stidham is going to get the job done. And to me, watching this Patriots team, it's everything I hate about the New England Patriots. They just win. Can't explain why. I can't explain how, but they just win. I'm going to take the New England Patriots. I'll take 24-20, New England Patriots.
Okay, well, Katie disputes that. She says Denver wins because of their defense, and Jarrett Stidham does just enough, baby. All right. This is interesting having Katie contribute from the chat.
I do like it.
It's like I'm on the field and Katie's in like the 5th row and she's just like got a megaphone. She's like,
She's just holding up cue cards.
Play action. Yeah. She's
Run the
cue
damn
carding
ball, Bert. All right, NFC title game on the road in Seattle, 6:30 Sunday night on Fox. Rams taking on the Seahawks. I'm just gonna say it. Fly, Seahawks, fly. I know that's not the song.
That's a bastardization.
On the road to the Super Bowl.
You
it
got a
works,
score?
though.
You got a score? It doesn't work. I mean, it works phonetically, but syllable-wise, but...
Let me see.
Syllabically?
Syllabically. What were the scores of the two games they played before? Let's see.
They were vastly different, 1917 and 39-38, I think.
Yeah.
Sad that I know that.
38-37.
38-37.
When they lost. And then, 21-19 when they won.
Okay, I was close.
So I'm going to split the difference there. I'm going to say 27-24 Seahawks.
Okay, not far off of me. I had 26-22 Seahawks. I have some information here. It said something along the lines of the Rams are 2-0 in the playoffs all time versus the Seahawks. Their last meeting was 5 years ago, 2020 wild card. And it's only the second game in playoff history, the second playoff game in NFL history between a team that won their previous playoff game by over 30 points versus a team whose last playoff game was an overtime win. And the team that won by 30 points, plus points, that was the Patriots, beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. That was the Marshawn Lynch, didn't hand it to him on the goal line Super Bowl. So there's your history.
Thank you, Nick.
A lot more than that.
History lessons with Nick Shook.
Yeah.
Katie, chat, what are your picks?
Well, I guess we're going to wait for them to contribute. But in the meantime, look, we got Chris in here. Chris says Seahawks by 16. And then followed up with, and now I'm going to go shower. Gross. As in, he feels gross that he chose the Seahawks. 16 is a lot.
That's a lot. That is a large number.
Crap. Katie's in here too. Seahawks win, but it will come down to a mistake/turnover. Take it right at the end with a short field. # Darnold Hive. Look, I think defense travels, and they don't even have to travel.
Do you want the ball in Sam Darnold's hands at the end of the game?
That's the problem. That's the problem. You do.
I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying, like, game on the line. Do you, like, in your ideal scenario, you want to see, like, your team with the ball at the end, but do you want Sam Darnold to have the ball, game on the line?
I wouldn't. No, I definitely wouldn't. That's like having Daniel Jones having the ball. That's unfair. But Giants Daniel Jones driving down the field late in the game and just knowing here comes the pick. It's coming soon enough. Like, I'm not saying Darnold will do that necessarily, but yeah, I wouldn't like to see that. Not after what Jared Verse and that front did to him in the playoffs last year.
All right, I do want to move on to F1 here because we got to talk car liveries, but I do have one more thing I do want to talk about in the world of football because, Nick, when we talk about drama, normally we're talking about Formula One drama. That's why people love Formula One. There's a lot of tea, right? Man, there's some tea in the NFC South right now. If you didn't know, the Atlanta Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski, former Cleveland Browns head coach, as their next head coach. A good hire. A great hire. A great hire for that team. I've talked to Falcons fans I know, and they're excited about it, and I would be too. There's someone, however, who's not excited, or maybe he is excited about the prospect of seeing Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta, and that would be Stefanski's former quarterback in Cleveland, current Buccaneers quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Do you want to pull up the tweet for me, Nick?
Our former early season favorite to win MVP. That definitely didn't pay off in the end.
That did not. I mean, at least even like 3 or 4 weeks into the season, he was probably the favorite to win MVP, along with Emeka Ibuka, the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Neither really panned out like that. So Baker Mayfield, as Nick pulls up the tweet, someone tweeted Falcons Kevin Stefanski. There we go. Up almost. That's the whole webpage. I'll just read it. Falcons' Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Baker Mayfield, by the way, Baker Mayfield wasn't even tagged or added in this tweet.
I like the context that Twitter added.
Hold on, I'll read that next. Hold on. So Baker Mayfield, not even tagged, not even like in that tweet, found it, quote tweeted it, and said, "Failed is quite the reach, pal." He hit him with the pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. The T is scolding. And then the readers added, under Stefanski 2020 to 2025, the Browns had 13 starting QBs. Baker Mayfield, however, led them to an 11-5 record in 2020, their first playoff berth.
Since 2002. And first win, Sean, don't skip over that, since 1994, because who did they beat?
Okay, well, I didn't see it in my, okay.
They beat the Pittsburgh
shoulder
Steelers.
injuries. They did beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, honestly, look, it's giving a bit of a crybaby, a little bit.
What?
It wasn't a little bit.
No, he set the record straight. Wow.
He wasn't tagged, wasn't tweeted. Like, he, can't wait to see it twice a year, coach. It's like, all right, so Baker Mayfield clearly has been known to, hold on to the past. Is he holding on to it a little bit too much here? He's remade himself. He's a $100 million man now. But now that Stefanski's in the NFC South, all of those old emotions, they pop up.
Oh, I'm so glad you took this side of the argument, because if you know anything about me, it's that people like to call me names online all the time. It's a favorite segment on this show, Mean Tweets with Nick Shook. And let me tell you, I got an interesting one about a week ago, and I'm trying to find it right now.
Nick, this is not about you. This is about Baker and Kevin.
Yes, but I can relate to Baker because he's got somebody on the internet alleging that he was a dumpster fire at quarterback when he wasn't, and he's setting the record straight. He is reaching out to make sure that he says his piece, his 2 cents about the way his tenure in Cleveland ended, which he's never quite really elaborated on, other than stuff like this. And he was happy to chime in on this matter by saying that he was still waiting on a text/call from Kevin Stefanski after he got shipped off like a piece of garbage, aka, screw you, Kevin. I don't appreciate the way that you got rid of me, right? So I'm right there and can relate with you because I understand when people take shots at you online and you feel the urge to clap back. For some reason, it took until Divisional Round weekend for me to clap back, but I had somebody come after me 5 days ago that said, starting with Herbert, here's a definition of clickbait, or maybe throwing darts at names and publishing the results. And I said, gee, I wish it were that easy. It would have saved me the immense amount of time I've spent watching every play of every game, every week, for every NFL team over the last 5 months. Period. End of statement. Nobody said anything back. People liked it because that's what you do to haters online. And I'm not saying D. Orlando Ledbetter's a hater because he's not. He's a great journalist, a longtime reporter in Atlanta. But that's what you do when there's a sentiment of criticism that is inaccurate against you. You clap back, baby. Thank you. 2 claps.
This is going to make for great content next season too. I'm It is going to be standing room only inside the Buccaneers facility when Baker Mayfield gives his Wednesday press conference. Falcons week.
Katie said, "Nah, I love that petty shit."
But
Talk your talk, Baker.
And it's fun when he does this because he does it so often. Like this year, leading up to the Jets, he was talking about Steve Wilkes, who was with the Jets this year, and he's like, he got rid of me in Carolina. And after people did some digging, it actually wasn't him that got rid of you, but I mean,
he was
okay.
a coach. He wasn't the
yeah.
GM.
Yeah, like it wasn't really him that got rid
Yeah,
of
but
you.
you know what?
Right.
How many times do we glorify a player who's like, I kept a list of every player at my position who was drafted over me, and I can tell you all of them in order. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown does that. Oh, it's so cool. He's so fiery. He's such a competitor. Let's treat it with the same approach here, the same level of judgment. Let Baker be petty, bitter, vengeful Baker. It's the best version of him.
It is the best version. When he gets that look in his eye, man, on the field, you're right, that is the best version of him. At least it gives us something to talk about, and will give us something to talk about anytime the Falcons and the Bucs play each other, with Baker Mayfield under center and Kevin Stefanski on the sidelines. All right, let's officially shift gears to the world of Formula One. I'm shifting in gear. All quiet on the Formula One front, except for we're getting liveries, Nick. It's livery reveal season.
Okay,
for those that don't
searching.
Yes, you do have to start searching. I'll try to vamp while you search for the three cars, that being V-Carb, Red Bull, and Haas, as you try to find these. Is this vamping working? I hope it's working. If you don't know what a livery is, it's the paint scheme. That's what they call paint schemes on cars these days. So we have a bunch of pomp and circumstance surrounding livery reveals. It's a lot to do about nothing usually, because guess what? The Ferrari is going to be red. Breaking news, I know. It's been red since 1950, and it's going to continue to be red forevermore. But occasionally, we get some bangers, and we did, starting with, do you have V-Carb first? We got V-Carb first. Largely looks like the same car from last season, but I'm not knocking them for it, because last year, V-Carb, Racing Bulls, whatever you want to call them, honestly had one of the best liveries on the grid. And I specifically like this year's car. It's got more white on it. If you look, this is foreshadowing. They've got a lighter shade of blue, and then they've also got some white wall tires. I love it.
Oh, I forgot about the white wall tires. I knew there was something different that wasn't hitting with me right away. Now, white wall being the inside of the tire, because then you have
the rims. Excuse me.
Yeah, you get the marking on the outside, which indicates the composition of the tire. Soft, medium, hard, that sort of thing. Intermediate, full wet.
By the way, this is the first time that we are getting to look at these 2026 cars in person, because the formula is changing this year. They're going to be shorter, lighter, not as fast, not as much downforce. But, this is the first time we're actually getting to look at what this new regulation set is going to look like physically.
I would like to congratulate all of us on our freedom from the wheel fins, the things the covers that went over the wheels in the front.
Thank you. Yeah, those were ugly.
Congrats. I'm so glad those are gone.
I'm glad. By the way, you know what my least favorite part of the old cars was how giant the rear ring was. It looked like a whale tail, if I'm being honest, because it fanned out.
That's
no,
one
seriously.
way to describe it.
It's the best way to describe it. It just looked like it fanned out, and it was so big. Anytime you got like a frontal view of the car, it just looked like it was imposing. These rear wings, a lot smaller. They look like the old ones that are more square, and I like it. It looks more like a race car to me, and less like some sort of mad scientist formula.
Yeah, it's not like the car is that much shorter. I think it's only like centimeters shorter, but like the difference itself, just it feels like the car is downsized and looks more like a race car from like the F1 of the late 2000s, early 2010s than the gigantic cars that we ended up seeing over the last decade. And I think that's a welcome change. So I agree entirely with you. And I'm totally killing time to try to find a full shot of there it is. Thank God. Took long enough. Because the next car we're going to show is none other than V-Carb's senior team.
Red Bull Racing.
As RBR, with Oracle in front right now. At one point it was Aston Martin before they became their own team. And yes, I am. And here we go.
Shocking.
There we
the
go.
Red Bull is blue with a Red Bull on it, but it's a different shade of blue.
What did I say last week? I said I think they're going to change it up finally. I just had a feeling, and what do you know? Ford's arrival as their engine provider bang.
You know what? I never got the whole reason why Red Bull was like so navy. Their cars have been navy for the last decade. If you look at a Red Bull can, it's like royal blue. It's royal blue and silver. Be royal blue and silver. That's your color scheme. It's cool.
Well, now they're both.
Now, yes, now they're both. We've gotten the best of both worlds, and I must say, especially under the lights, that's a sexy looking car. And all they did was change the shade of blue. It's essentially the same car we've had for the last decade, but they just changed the shade of blue.
And not even entirely. There's still that navy base, but then there's the royal blue on top of it, which evokes the addition of Ford to the team and creates a just sparkling, beautiful livery on this car.
It is weird seeing the Ford logo on a Formula One car again. It's been a long time.
It has, but you know what? I'm a fan of Ford racing, and I'm a fan of this color scheme, and I'm a fan of Red Bull changing their number font too, to again the 3 with the negative space upside down, number 1.
By the way, do you know who just joined Ford Racing?
Who?
Logan Sargent. Which means, I suppose, if they ever needed someone in a pinch.
Is that because he's American and because Ford's an American company?
No, he joined their endurance cars. He joined WEC and IMSA, so he's going to be racing their endurance cars and stuff like that. But he is someone that has Formula One experience, and it is possible. They might be like, hey, you know, Isaac got sick, and we're going to move you into the car for one weekend. It's possible. Ford could be like, hey, it's our guy. Put him in.
Perhaps.
They kept Yuki for so long because he was a Honda guy.
Let's see. What is the next one we have?
And then the next one is Haas. Haas, traditionally.
No, we have another one, don't we? We have 4.
I thought it was just Haas. Oh, and Audi. Right.
We got that new name
Forgot
team.
about Audi. Wait, let's do Audi last. Do Haas next. Because Haas has always had some version of a black and red car with white mixed in. And this time I think they did something really nice. And they went pretty much all white. But it works in a really, really nice way because the red pops on it. It's going to stand out well. These cars, by the way, such a contrast from a couple of years ago when the rule, by the way, is 55% of the car has to be painted. A couple of years ago, we had so many cars that were 45% carbon fiber black. And now it appears we are once again getting color back under the grid in Formula One.
Why was it 45% or more carbon black?
Because it was a weight issue. They were just trying to save on weight. So they just took paint and color off of it. But this is beautiful. The colors of Haas, automation. Red, white, black. It's a white car. You got Haas in black. You got red sponsors on there. I think that's a sexy looking car. That is going to be up there for one of the best looking liveries on the grid this year.
They have a new title sponsor, TGR, and I don't know who TGR is, but it's better than MoneyGram, so that's already an upgrade. And yeah, this is the best Haas livery I think we've seen perhaps ever. Since Rich Energy, even though Rich Energy ended up being a front and not a real company.
Whoops. If you don't know that story, go back and watch it.
Ugh, a good livery, not a good partnership. Not a good partnership.
I love this livery. And then last but certainly not least, one of the newest teams on the grid, Audi, which is, of course, a German giant in the racing and car manufacturing world, and
it's okay. For a second I thought it was McLaren.
Dude, when I saw pictures of this, I'm like, no way, McLaren went back to the chrome livery. That's awesome. Oh wait, that's Audi.
Nope, just silver, and that's actually like kind of red apparently.
Yeah,
and
what's with the yellow?
It looks orange. I think it's the flash of the camera flash. Like I don't think it's actually like see how it looks orange.
Okay, it's orange. Yeah, so basically this really
but I think it's supposed to be red.
I think so. Yeah, because
you ever have that crayon that's like orange red?
Is it supposed to be scarlet?
Crayon? No, scarlet would be too deep for that. I think it's like a fire red, so there's bits of orange in it. I don't know. Katie said, how did I forget about Rich Energy? I know, right?
Right. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's a good looking livery, but like it looks like they saw the McLarens of the late '90s, early 2000s, and were like, "Yep, that's good."
So what's funny about this livery is that they actually rolled this out months ago without any sponsors on it, so we already knew what it was going to look like. Except now you put sponsors on it, and it does look more complete. The Audi 4 rings definitely stick out on the back, like the rear fin of the car, against the black background. But I think this is what livery that's going to look good on track and better on track than it does in a studio. But ultimately, if they don't produce, which that's a team that hasn't really produced, this is the old kick stake F1 team Sauber, then it's just going to remind us of a car that sucks with a pretty unimaginative livery. You could call it a throwback, I guess, but for me, it's sleek yet unimaginative.
At least, I mean, again, 55% of the car needs to be painted. I would say about 98% of that car is painted some color, whether it's red, orange, yellow, whatever that color is, and silver. So I applaud them for making a decent looking car, but it's just, I feel like they just copied and pasted from 2 decades ago. Everyone loves a throwback, but it wasn't yours to throw back.
Yeah, I like the silver, but again, if they suck, we're just going to look at it as just like an uninspiring, forgettable car.
I do have to say, though, silver being the, competition color of German cars back in the day, your car back in, the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, the color was determined by the country of origin. So British cars were green. Why do you think Jaguar is always green? Italian cars were red. Ferrari, red. German cars were silver, which is why Mercedes were known as the Silver Arrows. So Audi being a German car company, I mean, it does make sense that they went with silver. So I do applaud them for that. Like a little bit of history, my paint schemes.
And yes, I appreciate that too. And let episode 94 stand. The record of episode 94 reflect that today I learned Audi was a German car maker.
You didn't know that Audi was German?
Mercedes is. Volkswagen
dude, you didn't know
is.
Audi.
BMW is.
I'm about to blow your mind. Did you know Adidas was German?
Oh my god, yeah. All right. Enough.
Nick also thought that Copenhagen was a city in Germany because when we were in Germany, he dragged us to I don't know how many bodegas to try and find a puck of Copenhagen chewing tobacco. And all he kept saying was, I need to find a can of Copenhagen. I need to find some Copenhagen. And finally, after walking around for like an hour and a half, we're like, why do you need Copenhagen so bad? And he just turns and looks at us and goes, because we're in Germany. And the rest of us, who knew that Copenhagen was not in Germany, but in fact the capital of Denmark, looked at him in bewilderment and asked him, Nick, do you think that Copenhagen is in Germany? And he looks at us, well, isn't it?
One of my most embarrassing moments of my adult life. I have used that as an inspiration to learn geography since then. I was 21. Give me a break.
That's it for episode 94 of the Gridiron Podcast, everybody. We'll be back next week to talk about Championship Sunday in the NFL, as well as some more livery reveals in the world of Formula One. For Nick Shook, what? Chris said.
Chris, what? What? It was a long time ago. I'm a changed man.
Clearly not. Audi is one of the biggest sports car manufacturers in the world.
Yeah, like I said, I knew all the other ones. I just didn't make the connection. But I Googled it right before you said it, and I was like, oh. Okay,
where's
sense.
Bugatti from?
Let's not do this. Let's end the show.
This has been episode 94 of the Gridiron Podcast. For Nick Shook and the not absent Katie Caldwell, but in the chat Katie Caldwell, I'm Sean Barry. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, please follow us on Instagram at The Gridiron Pod, on TikTok at the.gridiron.podcast. You can email us at thegridironpodcast3, that's The Gridiron Podcast number 3, damn those other two, at gmail.com. And where are we on YouTube, Nick?
YouTube.com/@gridironpod.
He's Nick Shook, I'm Sean Barry. She's Katie Caldwell in the chat. We'll see you next week for episode 95.
I woke up in a new Bugatti. Good night, Canada.